Tradinformed Trading Model being tested live in the markets today. With me is Ren Vallow as usual. How are you today, Ren?
Hey, good morning, Mark. I'm doing well. Yep. Looking forward to seeing how our model performs today. We're trying something a little different.
Yeah. Yeah, we are trying something a little different. Yeah, we've got the this is something that Ren came up with. We're basically we usually test on these live streams on the 1 minute bars. This time we have moved down a few notches and we are now on the 5 second bars. So we're going to get a lot of action. And if you could see on the screen there, we've just taken our first trade of the live stream. Ren, you can say a few words about what your thought process was coming to this idea, which will give us more action today in the live stream. Hopefully, lots of open and closed trades.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've been doing the 1 minute time frame for quite a while, and we don't get a lot of trades in the morning. We'll get like one or two, but I figured on this I would give it a try at the 5 second interval and see how it performs. And better than that, I decided to try this with an actual account. I put the spreadsheet on my brokerage account that actually has live money on it and traded it for about 35 to 45 minutes. And it performed quite well. It took all of the trades successfully. Just as good as you see here in the paper trading mode, where it actually did execute those trades. I was looking at the model versus the actual trade fills. Everything came in within 25 cents, plus or minus, sometimes a little better, sometimes a little worse. But on the average, it was about the same. So the performance, what you see on the trading strategy chart was pretty much accurate to what my account did. Of course, I was doing the micros. I didn't do actual full contracts because those are a little big. So I did the micros, the NQs, and you're looking at I think it's $2 a point. So it's not risking or making any money really. But yeah, you did see the performance. It was very accurate and fills were successful. So I was really impressed by that. So if somebody were thinking they wanted to trade this on a slower time frame, they can be assured it will actually execute properly in your brokerage account. So I think that was our first real, for this particular type of spreadsheet, our first live test with real money on it.
Yeah.
And I wasn't expecting to make any money with the strategy itself because it's a very simplistic strategy, but I just wanted to see how it performed. Yeah, I've done other things with Rhythmic, and I wanted to see actual performance, and this was the first time.
Yes, we've speculated before about what the fills would be like. We basically think it's going to depend on the strategy, like all fills will do. But we wanted to make sure it was round about there. Sometimes it's going to be a bit worse, sometimes hopefully a bit better. It will depend on the entry style, what's going on in the background, but we don't want it to obviously be wildly off, just reasonably close. And it sounds like from what you were saying, we got that, so that's good to see, good to hear. And testing it with real money, making some real cash on this. That's good.
Yeah, so that particular day was, I believe it was last Tuesday, and it was a really big up day in the market. It was just climbing up all day. So it actually did make money, which was impressive. I wouldn't say that, what we're seeing right now is accurate to what it would actually be. The market is down a little bit this morning. The strategy is down a little bit this morning, but it's not down. It's not as volatile as the actual market, even with the 5 second time frame.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. We're going to get a lot more volatility. 5 second time frame. We're doing this to test out, see what the spreadsheet is capable of, and get some action, get some interest, and get it to open and close some trades. So I can tell you actually a little bit about the changes that I made to the setup to move from a 1 minute time frame, which is pretty fast, to a 5 second time frame, which means it's going to check the price every 5 seconds. Open, close, or do nothing every 5 second bar. And not much really. I've shortened our profit target and stop losses. So you can see at the moment, if I switch on to the backtesting mode, they are averaging, let's see, yeah, what's that, about 26 points or something like that for both of them. So 26 points. Even on the 5 second time frame, that's that's pretty close. And the other change I made, and that was in response to this morning when I've seen the market conditions we've got. If I have a look at the main chart here on Rhythmic, we're down about 93 points on the day so far. So we have retraced a bit of the move that we had yesterday. And so we're in a bit of negative sentiment at the open here. So I've tightened up the time close. Set it to 20 bars, which means that we'll be open. Each trade will be open for about 2 minutes and then have the opportunity to close if it is in profit. So these are
So,
the go
Mark,
on then.
question for you. So, I want to talk a little about the profit target and stop loss. So, how did you come to the? Where did you make? How did you come to those decisions on where you changed on those guys?
Oh, trial and error, trial and error. I've got a feel for what's worked before, and we're coming to a totally new time frame here. I've got the data in. Had a look. It's very easy to change because we're
Yep.
doing it in Excel here.
Yep.
So anytime we change any of these values, I'm not going to demonstrate now because we've got we're trading in the markets. But you would do this before you open the day. If you want to have, you've got 1,000 or so rows worth of data. I'll have a look, see what works. So I've gone for about, as I said, about 25 points for a profit target, a stop loss. I did try a bit tighter than that, but it didn't seem to improve performance. When I went down to the number of bars before the trade can close, again, that was just a bit of trial and error and also a feel for what may work in these sort of slightly choppy. We're trending down. I can go on to the here. We can see what the market has done over the past 1,000 bars. You can see it's trended downwards. We've got a long only strategy here, so we're going to tend to take some losses in these circumstances. But what we want to do is lose less than the market on the way down and make money in a strong way when the market's going up, and that's what we're hoping to do and demonstrate.
Right, and it's very easy to make these adjustments before the market opens just by looking at these values on the left here. Make your adjustment and set your profit target.
Yeah, it took me 2 minutes to have a look here, get a feel for what's going on. If you're
Yeah,
trading a market like this, you need, even when you're letting Excel do it, you need to be switched on every morning, seeing what's going on. But it becomes second nature. You get a feel for, okay, we're nearly 100 points down, so we're going to trade it slightly differently to what we would do if we were 100 points up. Get a feel for the sort of types of stop losses. Maybe you've got some extra conditions in there. We can control a lot of things using just normal Excel checkboxes here. Switch different strategies on depending on the time of day and what's going on in the wider markets. Yeah, very easy to do.
so it's kind of like if you look at this as like this is your dashboard, you're a pilot here, and you're looking at your dashboard and you're saying, okay, here's the weather for the day, and you're just adjusting for the weather and get your instrument panel set up properly, and you're good to go, and you start flying.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And you may have a checklist, you may have a mental checklist, you may have a written checklist, but it's exactly that. Yeah, just adjusting to what's going on. We're here to, we're taking this seriously. We want to give the market our best shot every single day. Here, we're just demonstrating it, but it's the same process. We want to get more winning trades, as many as possible on as many days, and as few as possible losing trades. So exactly that. So there's a couple of ways actually you can control the spreadsheet. We've got here basically the dashboard for the actual running the strategy, running the back test. You can change profit targets, switch strategies. You can actually have a look at the back test here, see what's going on each bar by bar, what the indicators are showing, what the current position is. So we've got a trade, long trade at the moment, just been sold there, just hit the stop loss. So we're drifting down. We took a loss on that one.
Yep.
We've got a dashboard here that shows the status of the account, shows what the current situation is, and it shows you that even if as I was talking there, we've just made a buy trade.
Impressive. Yes, it's very active at this time frame.
Yeah, correct. And it seems to be taking all of these trades, even though we're using a time frame that we've not tested before on the live stream. We've used it a few times offline, but we've not tested it before on one of our live streams.
Yeah, this is the first. This is really cool. Yeah, neat. So it looks like the market's taking a little bit of a hit to the downside here.
Yes, we got whipsawed into a trade there. So we're actually going to be It's down slightly lower than the market, but we're not really even showcasing the strategy here. It may well be that this is not an appropriate day for this strategy. What we're showcasing is the entries and the exits. And what we found, what you were actually saying earlier, Ren, is that the whole key to this sort of thing, trading on these smaller time frames, is picking your moments, getting in at the right times, picking the right days. There's no point fighting against the tide, trying to get a few winning trades when the market's going against you. Picking your moments, trading at the right times of the day, which you can learn through back testing and experience, and then switching it on and letting the Excel, letting the model do the work for you.
Yes, exactly. And we're definitely, we've seen quite a few trades go through in just the short amount of time the market's been open.
Yeah.
It's absolutely performing well.
Yeah. Yeah. And what I was going to say is that this model is available. It's a demo version of a model that we're going to be further developing and making into a product very soon. But at the moment, it's in a demo version and you can download it absolutely for free. There is a link below this YouTube video and you can click on that and you can download this model. You can get a 2-week trial of the Rhythmic RTrader Pro software that we use here. The RTrader Pro software we're not affiliated with it. We are just using its connection to the CME so we can take trades using Excel. In the future, we're hoping to expand this product so it's going to be available through more brokers, through more platforms, but you can download Rhythmic if you're a futures trader in particular, which is an excellent platform, and try it out with this Excel model.
Absolutely, yeah. And it's really easy to adjust all the different things using the Rhythmic system. So different markets, all those. So it handles almost everything in the futures arena and Forex.
You've used Rhythmic for quite a while now, Ren.
Yes, years. And really, it's a great data service provider. It's incredible. So yeah, they're fast. They're relatively inexpensive. Unless you're a professional trader, then it can be quite expensive. But as a retail trader, it's quite inexpensive for the amount of data that you're allowed to get. And it is real time. Some of the fastest data I've seen. It makes TD Ameritrade's data look slow. So
yeah, well, that's right. And as trading these shorter time frames, you do want to get the best data feed, speed, latency that you can get. So if I click on this, actually, something I was trying yesterday, I'm not sure it's going to do it. Okay, we might be able to have a look at some of the markets here. Yeah, so we've got the CME. I don't know if you can see that here. Yeah, I'm just looking at here. I think, Ren, you can see it. Plenty of all the big products on the CME, cable, Canadian dollar, Euro FX, Japanese yen, E-mini S&Ps, all the normal ones that you would expect there, E-mini NASDAQ that we're looking at today. They also have COMEX, gold and silver, Eurex, a ton of stuff on there. Not even going to go into that. NYMEX for your crude oil, heating oil, natural gas, all that sort of thing. And what have we got here? Yeah, we've got the some of the softs as well, corn, soybeans, wheat. They have a ton of different products that are available to trade here, and they're bringing more in
all the time. Yeah,
all the time. Yeah. And they've got the small exchange here as well.
Now, this particular paper account, we didn't subscribe to any of the NASDAQ stock stuff, but that was one of the things that we've been talking back and forth about how they're supposed to be including that. I think that how they work it out is you can pay for the different markets that you want. So, and I'm not sure, as a small account like this, a paper trading account, it's like $25, and that includes the everything you see that we have. But if you wanted to add like some of the other things, it's $5 for another exchange, I think, as a
retail trader.
Yeah. So you could add on a lot more if you wanted to.
Yeah. So we're seeing a pretty sustained downtrend so far.
Yep.
But that's one of those things. We're still getting new lows. We're down about 180 points at the moment, but we can still look at what the spreadsheet is doing. You can see here the market has fallen, and we're falling as well with it. The capital in the paper trading account has fallen, but we are demonstrating lots of trades, lots of actions, and the importance of choosing the moment, choosing the right moment to trade, the right times of day. What we found with the 1 minute time frame, which we will go back to, and you can certainly find as well, is that it worked very well, often out of hours. Often the 7 or 8 hours preceding the 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time open, you often saw a rise, a gentle rise in the
Yes.
NQ, Nasdaq futures, and that was a good time for this strategy. It could be a bit volatile around about the open, but we got some good days as well. Here on the 5 second time frame, we're just seeing a bit of volatility to the downside.
Yeah, just a little bit. And again, we're seeing the strategy. It is doing what it's supposed to do, even on the small time frame. It's limiting the cascading market's action to the downside. We did experience some dropping, but it also at a point shuts it off, just like your risk management. You want it to do that. You don't want to go, if the market's going to continue lower in a flash crash, we're not going to be exposed to it. We're going to end, it's going to cut us off with the stop.
That's right. So yeah, so I mean, we can do that in multiple ways. We can use a stop loss. We can use a an indicator. Or we can just switch it off if we're, we can see the market's not going the way we want it to do. We can just switch it off as long as that's part of the trading plan. I can see Bill is here with us today. Good morning, Bill. Great to have you online. Feel free to chip in with any comments, questions, thoughts, or anything else.
Yeah, I think we may have another one of my friends wanted to join our call this morning too. So hopefully he does join. He had some questions on setting it up and running it.
Fantastic. Yes. Yeah, please do. Please drop any comments in the chat box and we will respond. So as I said, I've mentioned it before, this model is available as a free download. You can get a 2-week trial with Rhythmic RTrader Pro, which is how this model connects to the CME and executes the trades.
Yeah, and you'll see on the lower right corner of the screen when trades are executed, it pops up a little confirmation window. It'll be blue for a buy and pink for a sell. So those are good to notice. Also, I think if someone's running it for the first time, to make sure that if we go to the dashboard tab, just make sure that you're disabled when it loads up and that the last trade was sold, because that'll keep you in sync with the market. In case you had adjusted something or ran it a little bit and left it on, you don't want to load it for the first time with it enabled on, because then it can get out of sync. So you want to be in. There it goes. It just purchased another one. But yeah, you want to be in sync here and stay in sync. Otherwise, if it gets out of sync, you just won't have any trades. You'll just sit there.
Right. Yes. So yeah, that's something to be aware of. We've switched here, this cell here, because we're using a normal Excel model here. We're in cell 04 and it's saying bought because we've just, and we can confirm this by coming here. You can see here we bought about 5 or 6 bars ago, and that will show up here. What Ren was saying about enabled, that's here in cells P2 and P3. Oh, we've just sold it. Okay. So, and it's gone red. Yeah. So this is showing our current state. If that is showing bought and you have not got a buy trade, then you should just change that to sold. So that means it will be looking for new long trades. This model is perfectly set up for long and short trades, but we've only enabled the long trade functions at the moment.
Absolutely. Yeah, just for the moment. With the markets the way they are, we keep talking about it, including the short strategy, just a mirror of the long strategy. And I think we might go for it the next couple of weeks.
Right. Yeah, because it's at least my idea would be once you get down to these sort of time frames, yes, there's a lot of the 5 second time frame. There's a lot of noise, but also the moves both to the upside and to the downside can be quite pure as well. We get some strong moves, particularly with NQ. So yeah, it may well be a short strategy. I would tend to want to have more filters and more conditions before actually making it active, particularly in stocks, which behave differently going long and short, but on the 5 second time frame, it's a different world. We're not talking high frequency trading, but we're talking faster than most people can open and close trades accurately.
Well, it's way faster than I could possibly do it. Even if I
Yeah,
had, it'd be like a video game trying to trade at this.
yeah. Okay, the Twitch people who do all the shoot 'em up games, they might be able to do it, but for most people, and get it accurate and match your strategy. For most people, it's better just to program it and then let the computer do the work, and that's what this model is designed to do. Really, I think we envisaged it for people who like say the 15-minute time frame, the hourly time frame, and there's no reason why it couldn't be onto a daily time frame. Just keep things accurate, making sure you're opening and closing trades. If you were using it for a daily time frame, you wouldn't need to have it open all day, just at your precise times where you want to open or close a trade or adjust a stop loss.
Yep, absolutely, absolutely. Well, I thought for a second there we're going to get a winning trade. It had taken a trade as it was moving up, and the market just went straight down after that. We'll see.
Yeah,
Maybe they'll get lucky here, but I think it's going to get stopped out.
yeah. So we've got a question here from Bill. Any news from the TC2000 folks about their API? I know Kirk Duplessis at Option Alpha is also trying to get their API to play nice with his new bots. Ren, any thoughts about that? I do not have any information about that myself.
So no information in general. I did develop a Python connection to the APIs for Works and several other ones. It's totally doable to connect to Excel and still use exactly the same sheet using the API. But at this particular time, for the demo, we're just going to do Rhythmic because it's something somebody can download for free. They don't have to have a brokerage account and do it for 2 weeks. And if they like using the data, like I have, oh, there it goes. It just sold another loss. It's getting beat up really bad today. If they wanted to demo this is probably one of the easiest ways to do it without getting involved with real money. Like I said, I think it's $25 a month, including the CME market with Rhythmic. And I think that's definitely reasonable considering what they're offering. So for us at the moment, this is an easy one. A lot of the other ones, for us to do it, we would have to have a brokerage account set up. Like even with Works, we'd have to have, which I totally love that platform too. But yeah, so this way, if somebody didn't have a brokerage account, they just want to see it work, this is how we're setting it up in a demo. In the future, as people would like really go to a brokerage account and want to do that, be more than happy to work on APIs, connections and stuff like that. But yes, I have developed it. Mark and I have used it and tested it, and it's pretty smooth, same as you see here.
Okay, well, thanks, Ren. Bill, hope that answers your question. Another question here from Matt. Thanks for that, Matt. So this will work with any strategy that is programmed into the spreadsheet. Exactly. Yes, exactly. This is what we're trying to get across here, that the key thing that we've got is the Excel spreadsheet here, and this can then be plugged into, at the moment it's just using Rhythmic, but it can be plugged into different brokers, it can be plugged into different platforms, future APIs, and any strategy that you can program in Excel, and Excel is probably certainly one of the easiest way to program any strategies. I've got a ton of examples of indicators and strategies on my website, for example, but there's loads out there. You can program any strategy and it will implement it exactly into your brokerage account.
You want to show them on, here we are at the backtest tab. You want to show them where we're looking at the EMA on this tab so we can get an idea. If you want to do RSI, for instance, you would just be cutting and pasting the indicator into your Excel spreadsheet. So here Mark will point out the EMA.
Yeah, right. So yeah, we've actually got 3 EMAs in this particular model. All we're doing is looking at when the shorter EMA, in fact, when the price and the shorter EMA cross over the longer EMA, we've got a momentum entry. We've found that this strategy and similar strategies work well for NQ on various time frames, and so that's what we're demonstrating here today. But there's no reason you couldn't use all sorts of different other strategies.
Right, you could literally like delete those 3 columns and put in RSI and then readjust the spreadsheet.
Yeah, RSI, stochastic, MACD, whatever, breakout, Donchian bands, whatever type of strategy you like to use. You can program in chart patterns, candlestick patterns, any type of entry that can be broken down and boiled down to a number. You can put into this spreadsheet.
And the good thing is Mark's an expert at doing that. So if you need help with that piece of it, Mark's the guy.
With that, that's what we've got the team together. So we've got my side of it, which is much more on the back testing side, the technical indicators, trading strategies, and we've got Ren, who has got loads of experience with programming the APIs and the as well the trading on these short time frames, which is what you were doing before we even discussed this project.
Yep, absolutely.
And faster timeframes than we're looking at today. Although we don't recommend it with this particular spreadsheet, there's no theoretical reason why you can't go even faster.
You could go down to this spreadsheet can handle the tick time frame. It really can. I was surprised myself. I use Excel and I mostly use the VBA side of it. But the way we built this, merged it with the backtest model, it works fine. And I did run a couple tick tests on it. It will run it. But yeah, that's such a fast time frame. It's almost hard for your eyes to see it going.
Yeah, and there's no way on earth that anybody can trade on that time frame. It's all about getting the entry conditions and picking your moment to get in and out.
Right, like 20 bars can happen in 1 second. You just go, and it's like there. So the model's so fast, you're just watching it go.
Yeah.
So, but at the 5 second time frame, you can really see how it performs, how it puts the trades in, closes them, and it's easy to see it. But I think even at that time frame, it would be not possible for a human to really continue to trade like this.
Ren, we've had a follow-up question. What about options?
So we don't have any options trading built into this yet, but Rhythmic does support options quotes. So you could bring that data down and do the same types of things. I don't know any personally, I don't know any strategies that I would use that would be based off of an indicator like the EMA, but there may be something. And you could place options trades according to what we see on the data here. So yes, Rhythmic does support options pricing. Yeah. But I personally don't do it. I understand that a lot of people like to use options for mean reversion trades, those kinds of things. Just writing options when the premium's good. So you could easily write a script in your Excel spreadsheet to constantly price those options out, looking for the volatility and then the implied premium that you're getting from the additional volatility to say, hey, this is a good time to place a trade and place that trade. I think it'd be a really good, using Excel would be a great way to do that, because instead of just trying to eye up the options all the time and say, oh, it's a really good time because the implied volatility is high, they let the spreadsheet do that for you and say, here's my parameters. I think if the implied volatility gets to here, say 20% over historic volatility, I want to write those options because I know I'll probably get to collect that premium and have a winning trade. I would think that this would be one of the best ways you could probably do that. Yeah. And I thought about it, but I haven't done it yet.
Yeah. So thanks for that, Ren. That's really helpful. So basically there's all sorts of potential for anything like that. Yeah, whether you're just using options just as a way of taking a position in the market, whether you're, as Ren was saying, you're looking at slightly more complicated, looking at premium or whatever aspect you're looking at, absolutely there is 100% the potential to do that with this sort of system or something slightly different, but there's certainly the potential.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, and some people may say, okay, I want to use this EMA strategy because I know that my stock is now, the momentum's to the upside. So I want to write puts, for instance, if that's something that somebody likes to do. So what you could do is add a couple columns in here for the option pricing, say implied volatility versus historic volatility. So you've got your EMA saying, yes, we have upward momentum, and now we've got the option premium the way we wanted it because it's higher than the implied's higher than the historic by 20% or 30%. That means I want to take a trade. If you just add those columns in there, and this would automate that process for you. You wouldn't even have to think about it.
Yeah, and you can do some real-time forward testing. You can back test this. You can forward test it. Often it can be hard to marry up the back test and the forward test results, but you can do that, especially with this type of setup here that's not costing anything. Oh, well, it's only costing the cost of the paper trading account. You can test it, see how it works, and find out the problems, because there will be problems that you will have to iron out in real world trading.
Absolutely.
So just quick follow up with that actually. Um, Matt's asked a further question. Ren, what about if we wanted to have a look at the underlying market and the options prices simultaneously? Can we do that, or would we need some different type of setup?
No, we could do pricing. So you want to look at the pricing of the option market, and you want to look at the underlying. So we're saying like we're looking at the Nasdaq pricing coming in now. So right now on this particular sheet, we're only looking at the underlying. But what we could do is open up another window in Rhythmic that would do the option pricing, or even a different market. You could pull up the S&P 500, for instance, and then
Mm,
we could bring that data to this spreadsheet at the same time. So you'd have both of them going at the same time. So you could like there are some people who like to do these pairs trades, right, where you have the Nasdaq versus the S&P 500. So when the Nasdaq's up 1% and the S&P 500 is down 1%, so we have a spread that's like 2% between the two. They want to buy the S&P 500 and sell the Nasdaq. You could easily do that on here. So that would be two markets working together, and you could measure the spread between them and say, I want to when the one's too high and the one's too low, I want to buy one and sell the other. And you could do
mm.
that as well. And it really comes down to your computer's processing power at this point, because if you start adding more markets, Excel's going to get more and more data processing, and you're going to notice your processors will start going. We've seen this before, Mark. it's yeah,
Mm.
the sky's the limit.
We have, and that maybe brings us back to the idea that if you're doing this and you need very good execution, just reliable execution, maybe the best way to do it is through a virtual private server, which we've talked about before on our live streams. But it's probably the best way to do it. You can certainly run it from home. There's absolutely no problem. But if you use a dedicated VPS, you can be close to the exchange. You can have protection from internet dropouts, power outages, things like that. And I would guess as much processor power as you need to run your strategy, and then you can just dial in to keep an eye on it.
Yeah, you just pay for the processing power you need. But yeah, the more things you don't bring into the sheet, the more exchanges or pricing, options pricing versus the underlying, the more things you add to it, the more processing power you'll need to run it.
Mm, yeah.
And
So,
that's
so I,
lots of,
I was just gonna say, I think we've answered Matt's question. Matt was saying that the options on an SPY have tight enough bid-ask spread to trade calls puts instead of long short the index itself. So to do that, you would probably want the underlying market, or you may want it, and the options prices. So yeah, I think Ren's has said that that's totally possible. You can study the underlying to find the best conditions for your entries and exits, and then use options. Computer, use another spreadsheet to enter and exit using the options.
yes, and definitely I have already developed like bid-ask spread trading systems that I put into Excel just like this, where I'm looking at the spread of that. And when it gets to be too large or too small, takes action.
Yeah, yeah. So exactly. So that's another fail-safe you can have. You can be taking a position in the market when everything is right in the underlying, but if your option spread is too high, then you would not take the trade, and you can program all of that in before you've started your trading day. You don't have to think about it, calculate it on the fly. You just let your system handle it.
Yeah, and there's actually, if you look at the trading dashboard tab, Mark, you'll notice there's a bid-ask spread kind of thing on here already. I kind of built it into this spreadsheet.
Hmm.
If you want to go to our trading dashboard tab,
Ah, this one here, yeah.
yeah, if you look, oh, the dashboard one, yeah, there, or yep, there it goes. Okay, if you see that red inside the blue box, you'll see that. Oh, going back to our dashboard, I'm seeing. Okay, there you go. You'll notice inside the blue box, there's a spread indicator right there that just takes a look at the spread. When you see it turning red,
I could see
that
that.
means the spread has opened up. So I just put that in there because that's one of my filters. I like to look at the spread. When it gets to be too large, I don't necessarily want to be placing trades because I don't want to get a bad fill. So that
Mm.
kind of gives me That I've been using that for a long time just to keep an eye on the spreads between the bid and the ask.
Yeah, so that's right. So there are a lot of challenges to trading on this. You know, there's benefits and there's disbenefits for trading on this sort of time frame. Obviously, we're getting action. We can take a lot more trades, and the potential is a lot greater. But also, you've got to be careful. You've got to cover a lot of things, and one of those that you rightly point out there is have a check on the actual spread before you open or potentially even close a trade as well. So you're getting the best price possible, and if you can't get that, well, maybe you just miss out on a trade.
Yes, absolutely. So this keeps you out of trouble. If the spread starts to open up a lot, you'll notice it just turns red. So
Yeah.
that's kind of a flag to stop trading, or and you can adjust that obviously to whatever your parameters are. So now that it's not red, it's open to trade.
Yeah.
I use this for opening trades mostly. So like when I see the spread's too large, I don't want to open a trade in a large spread. In closing trades, I tend to close no matter what because you have to close. But,
Yeah, sure, yeah, exactly. We can be picky for our entries. We have to be, less picky. Take what we're given for our exits.
yes, absolutely.
So
So yeah,
it's currently yeah, okay, right. So I'm going to have to wrap this up. Actually, it's been a really good session. Thank you for all the questions, Matt. I hope we've answered your questions. Bill, great to see you here. Anybody else? Thank you for joining us. And you can download this spreadsheet. The link is below this video. You can download the exact one that we are showing here today. It's got the same strategy. I probably made a few changes, so I might update the one on the website soon, but you can get this spreadsheet, test these sort of strategies, and have a play around with it. We've got full instructions about how to connect to Rhythmic, and if you need any help, you can always just contact us. Ren, any other thoughts?
Nope, that's it. Thank you for hosting, Mark. I appreciate it. It's been a good morning.
Great.
Hopefully,
Thank you for joining us. Yeah, and thank you for being here, Ren. And all the we've had some negative price action today, but we've also shown we've had loads of trades. We're down 270 points, so it's a bit of a horror show day so far. But next day, we've always got to look on the positive side. Hopefully, we're going to get some winning trades. So yeah, thanks, Bill. Thanks, Matt. And I look forward to speaking with you soon.
Yep, and we'll have another live stream later on, maybe next week.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Yes, there'll be another live stream very soon.
Okay. All right, guys. Take care.
Okay.